Hey, Grace Point Church family, Pastor Andrew. I want to update you a little bit of the current situation that we are in coming out of COVID. One of the things we've noticed is not just in our church family, but other church families as well, and even across the nation, and most likely across the world as well, is that coming out of this last year, even though people have been locked down and people have been, in some ways, maybe their schedules have been more free, there's been less driving, there's been less events, there's been less traveling. Generally people feel pretty exhausted. And so as people are coming back and we're seeing people re-enter church and society, and even some workplaces that are opening up, I think that people are not coming in after a time of refreshment, but honestly are coming in after a time of what is more exhaustion. And so as people are coming back, I think certainly the desire as it comes to church is that they come back and everything's the way it was, or even ideally better than it was. And yet we're seeing that people are also feeling the need at the same time is that they want to come back, they want to be refreshed, they want to enjoy everything that was exactly the way it was or better than it was, and yet they're not seeing that. And because part of that's because they themselves are tired, and many people like them are tired and exhausted as well. So a couple things I think that would maybe be helpful to our church family, a couple options that we have, is first is the option of patience. Just like many restaurants are understaffed currently, many businesses are understaffed, and the wait times are increased, and we're working as followers of Jesus to be patient with those things and loving in those moments. Please understand that those who are serving currently at Grace Point are doing so with all of their effort and all of their energy, and many of them, just like you, are exhausted. And frankly, some of them have been serving regularly through the pandemic, and they're tired as well. And so even though things might not be exactly where you want them to be right now, we ask that you just be patient. Asking those who have given so much over this last year to give more when they already feel like they're giving everything they can could honestly, quite frankly, be very discouraging to them. And so if you say, man, not everything's the way I wish it was, all the services that I wish were there aren't there yet, not all of the groups are open back up again, when's all this going to come? Well, I think the first thing we can do is be patient. Be patient, be understanding that if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling exhausted, others are as well. The second option we have is, I think that if you say, hey, man, I would love to see this ministry fully open back up, or I'd love to see this program, or why isn't this there? Well, you could get involved. That's the second option, is that you say, hey, yes, and you say, well, I might be tired, I might need to be refreshed. That's fine. But I think sometimes we wait till we are perfectly refreshed and perfectly energized and perfectly restored until we serve. And I think often what we find is that God desires to restore us as we serve. And so the second thing you can do, the first thing is patience. The second thing you can do is get involved. You can step up and say, things aren't exactly the way I wish they were. I could see how things could be better, or I could see how we could be more effective for the kingdom of God. And so I'm going to put my name in the hat. I'm going to step up into that opportunity. And as enough people do that, that we're going to be able to get some of those things that you wish for to happen. And so the question that I say is, if things aren't the way you want them to be, then what can you do to be a part of making that happen? Not just offering the ideas and suggestions of how that could happen, but actually, what could you do to be involved in making that happen and seeing that come to fruition? But I think really the best option is an option 3, is the combination of patience and jumping in and serving. And he said that this will be a process for all of us. We're going into summer now, excited about that, is that we need both patience and the willingness to serve. We need that patience and understanding that others, they might not truly be ready to come back and start serving, or they might be struggling still. We need the patience with them, and then we also say, hey, if God's calling us to make this church family a better place, then I'm going to jump in, I'm going to step up, and I'm going to do everything I can to do that. And I think as we show both patience and as we show that willingness to step up and serve, then we're going to see God's blessing just richly bless the Grace Point family. I do know, and I see so many of you have served faithfully through this. Thank you for that. Thank you for those who have been patient with things that aren't quite as perfect as we wish they would be, and we're working to make them. And thank you for those who see those gaps and also say, I'm going to step up and I'm going to be part of the solution. I'm very grateful for you. Love you guys. God bless.